Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Trackside Talks. This is the home race edition, Austin, Texas, and we'll be covering the this race's events, a different stuff about different drivers, and a preview to the Mexico City race. So, first talking point, obviously, amazing weekend for Ferrari. They got almost double the amount of points of any other constructor this weekend through the sprint race and the real race. Carlos did extremely well in the sprint race and extremely well in qualifying and actually did pretty well in the race. So he did well around overall. Charles did slightly worse in qualifying in the sprint, but he obviously drove, one of the best races that he's ever done in the race. Another big talking point is the opening lap move from Max and the penalty that Lando was given. In my opinion, I think the move at the beginning by Max was a little bit uncalled for, and I think he should have gotten a penalty for that. I do, however, think that the late move by Lando Norris deserved the penalty because it clearly states in the rule book that you cannot overtake off the track.
All right, so I agree with you that Max should have gotten a penalty, and that he could have just with Lando, he could have just come in up right by the side of him, or behind him, but he didn't need to cut in front of him. But I think that obviously a great weekend for Charles Leclerc. I honestly think this race he looked better than Monza. He was just ahead of everybody else. It wasn't even really close after he got ahead, really. He was lonely. And then even though Ocon got 18th, not a very good day for him. He's driving Alpine, and he still got his first fastest lap ever of his career, which is good, and took the point away from Franco Colapinto. So it could be worse.
Totally. I also saw when I was watching the race, I thought Pierre actually was doing quite well until closer to the end, in which he started to fall back some cars. But I thought that he was actually had not that bad of a race, and he did really well in qualifying. So I thought that he did better than he normally does, which is good. Another big thing is the two new guys, Franco Colapinto and Liam Lawson. Just drove amazing. The fact that they beat so many veteran drivers in Fernando Alonso, Valtteri, it was just, they were impressive this weekend. And I think there's definitely a chance that that Liam Lawson takes Perez's seat for next year, and then this could very well be his last ever race in Mexico. And I also think that Franco deserves the seat. However, I personally feel that Valtteri currently deserves the seat over him. And I think if State can build a better car, Valtteri is actually still a good driver. But we will not know unless they do build a car and they keep him. So I guess we'll have to see on that.
Well, I actually would like to disagree at that point, just because I think, Kyle Pinto, he's obviously been great Williams is, don't get me wrong, a good car now, but he's also outperforming Alex Albon every race so far, basically. And so I think he deserves to have a chance there, just because Valtteri has had a long career. He's proved himself and been good in some spots and disappointing in others. But I think that it's Kyle Pinto's turn to step up. But I think Liam Lawson was absolutely phenomenal this weekend, and they're going to want to keep him around somehow, some way in F1. So good for him for doing better than Yuki. And yeah.
I definitely saw some huge potential in both of them. So, and I think it's fair to say that Valtteri, he's had a good career, and he's proven, and he's been in the thing for a long time. So I think it's fair to say that, that Franco deserves it over him. Quick hot take time. I know this is serious bias because I'm a Ferrari fan, and I know that you actually said this many episodes ago, which would be insanely impressive if this was true and you somehow guessed that. But I now believe that Ferrari will win the Constructors' Cup. I think because there's still 2 sprint races left. I think there's definitely enough points up for grabs. And I also think that McLaren generally run better when they're like coming off a high note. So they usually drive really good like when they've done good previously. And I think Ferrari is just absolutely dominated this weekend. And however, I will say Mexico City is very high altitude, so it's very, like, you need to have a high downforce rear wing for it. And McLaren have shown that they are generally better when you have that setup going for you. So I think that this weekend will actually be one of the best ones so far, and I'm very excited to watch it.
I love the Mexico City track too. I think it looks really nice. I think the grandstands are really cool, and I mean, I'm really excited to watch and see how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Haas looks so good right now. Their car does. So I'm excited for Esteban to be going there next season because I think he'll be able to perform very well there. So that's exciting.
Definitely. And I think another super promising thing from Haas is they've been in the league for very, very short amount of time. So I think, and every single year, they just seem to make better and better developments. I genuinely do think that they, could easily be fighting Aston Martin next year. Like, they are a very, very capable team with Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon. I think next year, we'll have to see in preseason testing, but I think that could be a surprise team next year.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, do we want to do predictions?
Prediction time for the Mexico City race. So I'll go first. Let's do top 10. All right, here we go. First place, I have Oscar Piastri.
That's an insane call.
Second place, I have Carlos Sainz. I know, weird first 2. Third place, I have Charles Leclerc. Fourth place, I have Max. Fifth place, I have Lando. Sixth.
So he literally, by the way, now I feel like he's just completely out of the Drivers' Championship.
I truly do believe that Max is basically all the way in control of this Drivers' Championship now. I think if Lando, has a crazy thing this weekend and Max, crashes out, there's still a thought, but I think if Max just holds his position somewhat decently in all these races, Lando does not have a chance. So, I think after this last race, maybe Lando could have lost motivation. We'll see. I'm not sure. I have him in 5th. Then in 6th, I have Lewis Hamilton. 7th, I have... Actually, I'm going to flip that around. In 6th, I have Sergio Perez in possibly his last ever home race. 7th, Lewis Hamilton. 8, George Russell. 9, Franco Colapinto. And 10, Pierre Gasly.
All right. No, I have a crazy number 1 pick, but I have Sergio Perez winning. I think that he's going to win his home race, and excited to see that. I think the Red Bull looked great this weekend, and if he just drives well with it, I think he'll have motivation to win. Also, probably doesn't want to get fired, so I think I got him winning this. Then I have Max Verstappen in 2nd, so I think Red Bull just has a takeover this weekend. Then I have Leclerc in 3rd, Norris in 4th, Sainz in 5th, Russell in 6th, Piastri in 7th, Hulkenberg in 8th, Colapinto in 9th, and then Magnussen in 10th.
And you got Lewis Hamilton where?
DNF.
Oh my God. It's large, don't we think? But honestly, I understand. I think that Mexico has the longest distance between the start line to turn 1. And I think that actually could I think that'll benefit probably McLaren the most, but I think Red Bull could also take something out of that. It's from what we've just seen from Max, they're honestly usually pretty good in the front straight and getting into that turn 1 quickly. And I don't know, maybe Perez can shine this weekend and this can be his last ever home race. That would be amazing. I would love that for him.
Alright, so can I make a crazy prediction real quick?
Totally, go for it.
On turn 1, I have like 5. First turn of the whole race, I have like 5 cars DNFing. Just like a massive crash.
It's happened before.
Like a 2021 Hungary-esque crash.
Considering the speed that you get going, since it's the longest build-up, it's 0.6 miles. So it's over half a mile to turn 1. So you're just flying into that. And I assume a lot of the cars will be very close together because of the competition. Yeah, no, I really hope we see a great race this weekend. Super excited. So that is all from Trackside Talks this weekend. Tune in with us next week after the race in Mexico City, and we will give you the prediction for Sao Paulo. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Adios.